Hey, marijuana traders, it's Rod with Powell Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth. It is October 29th, Thursday, and finally we got our HEXO results and big tech earnings out as well. I did a video earlier today, but HEXO just released their Q4 2020 earnings. So we're going to take a peek at that, and we'll look at the report in entirety, and we'll also take a look at a few big tech earnings. So Apple now has 191.83 billion in cash on hand, down 14 billion from a year ago. We also saw that it fell on strong iPad and Mac sales, but it failed to make up for the iPhone sales decline. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that the production was late due to the whole situation around the world. Amazon earnings are out. So Apple, just to take a quick peek here, we had revenue of 64.7 versus 63. So everything beat, but it's basically they didn't give any guidance and they were expecting more. And we saw Amazon came in with a huge beat, earnings 12.37 versus 7.41, just crushed it. Revenue was 96 billion versus 92 and change, but again, falling after hours. Google crushed and is still holding its gains after hours, $16 versus $11. And 46 billion versus 42 billion. We had Facebook come in. They saw a decline in users in the US and Canada, so that hurt Facebook. But just taking a quick peek at their earnings, 2.71 versus 1.91. Revenue was 21 billion versus 19 billion. Same thing with Twitter, slowing user growth and uncertainty. But just taking a quick peek at the numbers from Twitter, we had 19 cents versus 6 cents expected, and 936 million versus 777 million. Starbucks sales fall less than expected as US and China markets rebound. And just taking a quick peek here, 51 cents versus 31 cents, and 6 billion versus 6.2 versus 6.06. And we also saw Netflix was raising their monthly charges for US customers. Shares were up. So let's take a look. Without further ado, let's take a look at HEXO. So I did take a quick peek at this before I went live, but essentially I'm just going through this for the first time as well. So we'll go through it together. So HEXO Corp reports financial results for the fourth quarter fiscal year 2020. We reported for the period ending July 31st. HEXO's top line growth in this quarter reflects the ongoing performance and success of 2.0 products and the high quality of our offering, which repeatedly resonates with consumers. Yada, yada, yada. Market share in Quebec, we all knew that. This year, major strides by launching Trust cannabis-infused beverages in Canada, in addition to our initial foray into the US with Molson Coors, a world-class partner, said the CEO. Our business is improving quarter over quarter, and we continue to focus on achieving positive adjusted EBITDA. And in the fourth quarter, we are also strengthening our balance sheet as we look beyond positive adjusted EBITDA to positive EPS as well, so earnings per share. So some key highlights: revenue per gram equivalent for non-beverage adult sales increased to 4.07, or 29% from the previous quarter. Continued market expansion in the first quarter of contribution from cannabis beverage products powered by HEXO in the fourth quarter, contributing 2 million of net revenue. Net revenue of 27.1 million, up 23%. That's got to be a beat from the previous quarter of 76% of the same quarter of the prior year. Gross revenue of 36 million, the highest in company's history. Woo! I have a huge position, just a full disclaimer, on HEXO that I'm holding for the long term, increasing 17% from the previous quarter and 76% from the same quarter of the prior year. Adjusted EBITDA of 33.25 million, representing a 21% improvement from the previous quarter. Tracking towards positive adjusted EBITDA in first half of fiscal 2021. That is good news. Company maintained gross margin adjusted of 42% on sales excluding adult use beverages as the company continued its strategy to provide consumers with high quality, low priced alternative. Increased cash and cash equivalents by 95% from the prior quarter. This was accomplished primarily through the company's financing activity in the period where net funds of 54 million and 33 million were raised through May 2020 public offering and the June 2020 at the market offering, respectively. Company's working capital was 223 million, including 184 million of cash. Operational cash use 3.8 million for the quarter, not including financing and investing activities. Company recorded 2 write-downs of inventory of 43 million. Company recorded an impairment to property, plant, equipment of 46 million. So that's a bit of a downfall there. We'll see how the stock reacts to that, as they're on the pathway to positive earnings per share. So, highlights: gross revenue of Q4 20 increased 17% to 36 million from 30.9 million in Q3. Primary drivers increased for the company's Cannabis 2.0 products, launching cannabis vapes into the market, which is, and then we know that they are available across Canada now, which is a new sales stream and contributed 1.3 million to gross sales, as well as 2.4 million of beverage-based adult use sales, another new revenue stream that began mid-fiscal year, and from international sales of 1.3 million, reflecting the company's purchase agreement established with Israel-based medical cannabis company. Gross margin before fair value adjustments was 30% compared to 40% in the prior sequential quarter. See if there's anything else worth mentioning here. That's pretty much it. During the 3 months ended, company's adjusted EBITDA improved 21% from the previous quarter, coming in at 3.25 compared to 4.1 million for the 3 months ended April 30th. Increased sales of 2.0 products while managing SG&A levels were primary contributors to an improvement in adjusted EBITDA. Company's wholesale activity and international sales also contributed due to having higher margins, as these streams are exempt from excise. I don't know if that's a typo. Excise taxes. Anyways, moving on. Fiscal 2020 year highlights: revenue sales of goods increased 86%, totaling 110 million compared to 59 million in fiscal 2019. Company's net revenue from sales of goods for fiscal 2020 increased 70% to 80 million compared to 47 million in the prior year. See if there's anything else. Finance position raised net cash of 186 million. Operating expenses increased to 41 million compared to 111 million in prior year. Just moving on, see if there's anything else. They do have the webcast as well tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. See here, you can get the details about that. So we'll see if there's any other coverage of the results and the financials. Looks like there hasn't been any mainstream coverage yet. So, and obviously the market's closed now, so we'll have to wait until pre-market tomorrow to gauge that, but I'll do a video tomorrow, so make sure to subscribe to the channel, like, comment below, let me know what you think, if this is a bullish or bearish reaction. I think it's going to be a bullish reaction. Another thing that we'll be watching is the market. So we had big tech earnings. We're down big on a lot of those names. So Apple reported, and see we're down heavily here after hours at 110, about 5%. Amazon was up big and then down, and Google held its gains, and Facebook down big as well after hours, down at around the 274. That is going to be some headwinds tomorrow. So if SPY can maintain the weekly uptrend and weekly equilibrium and change the daily trend, then we could potentially, if we bounce tomorrow in SPY, then we could be positioned well for the HEXO bulls. But again, we'll have to check back in the morning during pre-market to see what we're looking at. But certainly seeing a bearish reaction. QQQ, tech sector down very, very big after hours, and SPY as well. Closed at 329, currently sitting at 327 after hours. So it's going to be very important how the overall broader market opens as well tomorrow. But personally, I think those numbers are stellar from HEXO. They're on their way to positive EBITDA and positive EPS. And they had the biggest revenue in company history, and they just started to roll out their drinks, which are amazing, by the way. I love their Molo beer without the alcohol. It's got 5 milligrams of THC, 5 milligrams of CBD. I think that one's going to be a huge hit. Yeah, we continue to see strong sales through their original stash and their hash as well, and now their vapes that are available across Canada. So I think there's going to be a lot of positive tension and just interest in the stock for the next few months, especially if it starts to turn a profit in the first half of 2021 like they are forecasting. So let's just take a look. So we did have that daily EQ on HEXO that we were watching. So we had the low, the high, the higher low, lower high, higher low, bear break. We also lost EMA 12 support and 26. And now we're bouncing, but we'll have to, most important support in the short term is going to be 70 cents. So we held that today, even though the market was getting crushed. So that was a positive sign. We could see these EMAs cross bearish as well, EMA 12 and 26. So if 12 was to cross through 26, that would be very bearish on the daily. Taking a look at the weekly chart on HEXO. So we could be setting we are in a weekly uptrend because we had a low, high, higher low, higher high. Now we're looking for a weekly higher low. This could very well be the catalyst to give us that. And like I said, on the daily, we're just looking to get out of this daily downtrend. So we had a lower high and lower low, confirmed a daily downtrend. Now we'll see how far of a bounce up the bulls can manifest if it's a positive reaction in regular trading hours tomorrow, and then set a higher low and higher high, change the daily trend. That will confirm that the weekly higher low has been set. So if you're waiting to get in, maybe you wait for that daily trend change to confirm that the weekly higher low is set. If not, maybe you just wait and see if we see further weekly consolidation. That's what I would be watching, but we do have next resistance at 79 cents and then 85 cents. And then from there, no real resistance up until $1.29. So if we get a big reaction here and SPY decides to push up as well, and we see a continued bounce on the daily, then we could be potentially positioned very, very well in HEXO. And like I said, no real resistance past 85 up until $1.29. You're looking at an 80% upside. I plan to hold my position for the long term, but I did add more today when we touched just below 71 cents. And I will continue to add, especially if we confirm a daily uptrend. I will add more to my position. I'll look to add more on a daily higher low. That's my game plan right now, and I plan to hold this for the long term. I do think that it's extremely undervalued compared to its peers, and looking to set a monthly higher low and higher high, change that monthly trend for the first time since the all-time highs back at $8.40. And this is HEXO on the NYSE, just so you're aware. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys. Taking a look at the hourly. So we are in an hourly downtrend. If bulls can get, first thing tomorrow, we'll look to change the hourly trend, and then we'll look to the daily, see how big of a bounce we can get on the daily, and then we'll look to the daily trend change. But let's bring up the weekly here as well. So we did have the 10-week moving average at 72 cents. We closed at 72 cents. That's very bullish. Well, not extremely bullish, but a point in favor of the bulls for sure. We are crossed bullish, was looking to cross bearish here on the stochastic, and we are trending up on the MACD. So if we can negate this cross here and break to a new high, break the high of the previous candle, then we'll be looking to 85 cents. And like I said, no real resistance up until $1.29. So looking real good on the weekly. Let's take a look at the daily chart. So we have the 50-day moving average at 71 cents. We closed at 72 cents, even with all SPY's weakness into the close and uncertainty in the markets. So that's bullish. And we are just below the 100-day moving average at 73, and we have the 200-day moving average at 81. So again, if we can get over 85 and that 200-day moving average, I wouldn't be surprised if we got back above the $1 and potentially to the $1.29 mark. But we did have the MACD crossing bearish, not very much though. Taking a look at the weekly again over here, just a little bit more cleaner. We do have the 50 weekly moving average at 99 cents, and then the 100 at $2.97. So I could see $1 definitely in play tomorrow if we get the right conditions. If SPY decides to get a bounce going or continue that bounce, we could see some tailwinds. But again, last time they came out with their earnings, SPY rolled over and the overall market was correcting. So poor timing there. Could that happen again? It's very possible. But again, in my opinion, They had the highest revenue in company history. So it could just be a buying opportunity. So that's what I'd be watching out for. But again, MACD trending up on the weekly as well is a positive sign. Let's just see if there's any other coverage here. Nothing really out yet. I'm surprised. It is getting quite late though. So an estimate of minus 0.2. So we'll see what the estimate or what the actual beat is on the EPS. It's getting late here as well. I, for one, am exhausted. It's been a crazy week, and I'm glad tomorrow is Friday, to say the least. So let me know in the comments below if you think the earnings are bullish or bearish. I think they're very bullish. It's all going to depend on the overall broader market. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and tick the bell. You'll be notified on all of my updates that come in the future. Hope everyone has a great night, and make sure you establish a plan. We could see another leg down in SPY and the tech sector and the overall broader market. So always plan for that. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and take care. We'll see you tomorrow for another daily market update, and best of luck into the trading day tomorrow. Take care, everyone.